Hello and welcome to Starpoint Gemini Warlords with the Titans expansion. This will be a let's play / tutorial on the game. As you can see, I'm in the menu. I have changed my difficulty to extreme, so you know if I do something and it succeeds, it's probably a good idea to do it. You can do all that in the options menu. I'm just going to go straight to new game. Now, if you haven't played this before, I would seriously recommend starting with the campaign. The reason is you get an insight into the lore of the galaxy, what exactly the Starpoint is, and some various other character backgrounds. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to use Humble Beginnings. Now the reason for that is you get no spoilers. You can go through the storyline at your own pace, and I don't use the tutorial. Now the tutorial is fine for basic things, but I would say watching somebody play the game is perhaps slightly more useful. You get to see how would they react to each individual situation that way. Now on Humble Beginnings, as it says here, you start at level 1. There is a slight caveat to that, but we'll cover that later. You get a gunship, scarce resources, 200,000 credits, which sounds like a lot, but trust me, it isn't. No fleets, we will go into that later, and your HQ status as bare bones. There are alternatives there, which change up how these settings present themselves and what they do in-game. So we're going to click on next, and the first time this game loads up, it may take a while. I wouldn't worry about that too much, because it's obviously generating the galaxy for the first time. Now, if you go to gender and you click in this box here, you can swap from female to male and vice versa. There are various options, as you can see, that I'm clicking through. For my campaign I used the red portrait, but I'm going to go with the stealth character on this video, and I like the colour blue, so this is pretty much perfect for me. Now I'm going to change the name to my Steam name, which is Bracknell. If you want to add me on Steam, feel free to use that name, and I will likely accept as long as I've got space on my friends list. And if there is anything you want me to include on the next Let's Play, or any subsequent Let's Plays after that, then I'm more than welcome. Now, surname, I'm leaving the same. Blackwell is fine. Before you click on finish, go to class. This makes a significant difference to how your skills are represented to your character. For the stealth character which I'm using, I'm going to choose Marauder. Now, one of the more significant skills with this is Cloak, but we will go into the rest in a fairly short amount of time, possibly even the first video. So let's click on finish. The ship name is fine, SS Lessie, there's nothing wrong with that. You can change that to anything as serious or as silly as you like. I personally prefer this ship for stealth. This has an effect on the very first ship you have. Only in looks, not in statistics. Sort, class, manufacture, all greyed out. You can't do anything with that. So it's slightly strange that the box is presented in exactly the same way as the ship name is, which you can change, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Click on finish and it takes you into the game. Now, as you can see, this is the basic world that will, if you are on a campaign or tutorial, immediately give you hints and tips on what to do. But my first hint is going to be to tap on tab. Don't worry about that. This game does have bumper cars. It's just a fact. I'm sure they are working on it. If you press tab, it changes to turret view, which has several advantages, because if I move the mouse now, it is independent from my ship. I can still select on anything I want, as long as it's not too far away, like that one. This asteroid is selected, so it's as simple as that. If you press the space bar from this view, it will switch to a different type of camera, which will allow you to rotate around the ship like so. Now, as you saw there is a starbase. This is your starbase. It's named Concordia. It's given to you in the storyline. We will go ahead and face that, and we will left click on it, which I've done already. It's denoted by the yellow circle. And I'm going to use the middle mouse button and click straight down on that, which gives me a radius menu. There are several options, but for now you want to go straight to the top middle, go to, which will dock you in here. It's an animation there. The first thing I would recommend you doing is going to the jobs board. There are more jobs available later, but for the start you are limited. It's not too important which job you select at the beginning, but search and destroy will take you to a battle. Salvage, which is much more simple, will just send you to an area to pick up some resources or something else. But that's from destroyed ships, for example. It doesn't matter what your recommended level is on salvage, really, in my opinion. Search and destroy, it does matter. These are both recommended level 1. Now, the potential reward is the money that you get for completing. The distance is how far away it is. So this is 169,000, nearly 170,000, which is quite a fair distance away. This one is 200,000, which is also a fair distance. 153 is the best one. 113 is good. So I'm going to go ahead and choose salvage. Not only does it give me the second highest payout, it's the closest. Now, it does recommend level 4, but there are ways around that in the free play mode which I selected. So I'm going to click on accept. You get told by some random guy to earn your pay, which is what we're doing. The mission objective that you are looking for is shown by a big star here. Now, by the way, to get to that menu you press M, that's the map. So you right click on the star and it will take you straight to it. Now, what I recommend doing while you are travelling to this first mission is look for this yellow fighter symbol. It may not be Hunter Space Corps for you, but select that and it will select your fleet. Now right click on your ship, which is a more orangey colour, and it will eventually catch you up. So we've made it to a salvage mission. What we want to do is look for the white boxes where the derelicts are, and we want to go as close as possible, really. We've got two options. We can either shoot them with the right click, which works, it's fast, or we can select another one, and we can go to a menu and select to do that with a skill. Now, as far as skills are concerned, on the left hand side in the lower right of your screen you have the first 3 available. These are hotkeyed, so number 1 will be expose, number 2 will be cloak, number 3 will be disable, and number 4 will be this undiscovered skill, which is quite good, but we will find out about that later. The menu we're interested in here, because we're not in battle, is this one. Now, we have basic repair drones, which in my opinion aren't all that useful. We have the damage amplifier, which makes you do more damage, fairly simple. Borehole torpedo, which is for mining, it's like a nuclear missile for rocks. And scavenger swarm, which is what does the derelicts. So if you have your derelict selected, you go to scavenger swarm, you will see what are, I will call, nanites moving towards that. They will slowly unpack it. Now, while that is happening, because you start with 3, it is a good idea to travel to the next salvage. When you're close enough, select scavenger swarm, find the next one. Let's get closer. Select scavenger swarm. Now, if I press spacebar, remember the view I'm using. When I initially started the game, I pressed tab. There are more views, so just bear in mind the view that I'm using. So I'm going to spacebar collect all, which will pack everything up into my ship. I want to carry on looking for the remaining derelicts. There's one here, so let's have that. There's one here. Now bear in mind there is a cooldown on skills. If you don't want to deal with the cooldown, don't worry about it. Don't forget you can still shoot the derelicts.
Affirmative. Entering stealth mode.
Now, the question is, do I have all of the derelicts or am I missing any? Just pan your view around. It looks like I have them all. And there's one. Now, to go faster or slower, I am using the scroll wheel. To speed your ship up, you want to push the scroll wheel away from you, and to slow it down, you want to pull the scroll wheel towards you. So after selecting this derelict, which I just tried to shoot and it wouldn't let me, I should get a mission complete, unless I'm once again missing any. And yes, I am. So we need to go and collect all of those. For the purposes of finishing this up quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and shoot them. If you don't like scavenging, but you want quick money, this is also a good way of doing that. Now, the way to tell whether you've got all of the mission objects in the area is if you see in the lower left hand of the screen, there's a kind of 3D map. This is the object that I'm looking for. It should be the last one. It's white. and it says derelict, so it's, I would say fairly obviously the last one. If I face it and I slow down, but I move the screen around, you can see on the bottom left hand side of my 3D map there is a little cross on a white stick which is moving up and down and sideways. That is telling you where your objective is, which makes it much easier to find. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up now.
Negative. The cargo hold is filled up.
And that should be the mission completed. Now, I'm going to go ahead to the map by pressing M again. There are several useful things at this point you can do. If you've done what I've done and gone for a mission, you can either go straight back to Concordia, which is the starbase that I showed you at the very beginning. That's here. It's a very unique icon and it's got a relay satellite icon under it, so the double icon is hard to miss. This I would ignore for now. That's like, it's not PvP, it's PvE, but it does feel like a PvP game. You need a strong ship. There's an artifact vault here which will give you skill points. There are things you can build. Mining operations will give you ore. You can also send your civilian fleets on a mission, which I will get into when we go back to Concordia. However, I am going to go straight to this artifact vault because while it's out of the way, I'm already halfway there. And the advantage it gives me for going there with almost zero risk at the start is, I was about to say huge, but I would say it's a very large benefit. I would definitely recommend going to both that one and this one at the very start, possibly even before you've done anything else. So if you click on the waypoint there, you can see how far it is and estimate how long it's going to take you to get there. There's also a derelict station which I may go to first. Let's see if we can destroy that. It may not fit in my cargo hold. It won't fit in my cargo hold. Okay, I can't do that. So let's go to where we were going originally, which is the artifact vault. So you click on this, it's red, which normally denotes an enemy. Don't worry about that here, it's not going to fight you. So after left clicking on it, and then putting my cursor onto the artifact vault, there are new options. Hail, fairly useless really for you at this point. Mark targets, also useless. I would suggest clicking on scan, which will give you the skill point that you need. As you can see, it blew me up. Now, don't worry about it. I did that for the purposes of showing you the dangers of the universe. Around certain things, there are defences, or sometimes mines. Now you have to be aware of these mines. Now while I said don't worry about the red normally denotes an enemy, it still does danger. So the best thing to do, if you think there are mines around here, like I was hit with, try and get as far away as possible. And just for clarification, yes, I have completed this game and it was for demonstration. If you look on the forums, you will see my screenshots that I've done complete domination of the universe on. Now, we'll do scan again at a safe distance. Hopefully not get destroyed again. If I do, this time it won't have been on purpose. And I'm alive. So you always want to watch for that. Now it says artifact skill unlocked. We're not going to look at that just now. I want to teach you about some of the extra map items. So we're going to go ahead to Concordia and carry on from there. The reason I'm not skipping this travel is because sometimes random events will spawn. You can get things like ships to hail, you can get things like an invasion in your space, or a patrol that hits you, or you can even find things like that, for example, which is another derelict. I'm not stopping at that. I would recommend, if you have the time and you have the cargo space, that you should probably stop there, because you never know if it's going to give you just a little bit of an edging. Now, here's another example of why I wasn't skipping travel. These are anomalies, and if you stop near them, you can scan them. They are safer than the artifact vault, so we will scan that in exactly the same way. And that will be added to the in-game Wikipedia, which isn't called a Wikipedia, but that's essentially what it is. That's one scanned, so I'll just pan the screen around to find the next one and scan this. I would suggest, from experience, you stop at every single anomaly you see. And the reason for that being is that there is an achievement for scanning all of the anomalies in a save, and I missed it on my domination playthrough by one because RNG wasn't being kind to me. Now, we click on the Concordia waypoint, click down on the middle mouse button, go up the radius menu and select Go To. And we will go to dock.
The Concordia is safe with you at the helm, Captain.
So, after a trip like that, the first thing you want to do is check the trader, because you may have items in your ship. Now, if you choose the trader profession, let's say, you want to keep in mind the price that you get. However, in my situation, or as I should say, my character's situation, he's a stealth pilot, so he's more of a smuggler. He just likes getting the money. So we're going to go ahead and sell everything straight away. See what we've got in systems, nothing, and equipment, light repair drones. Now, as I said, I don't particularly like these. So what I could do is sell them for a small influx of cash. However, I don't currently have anything to replace those, which I could do now. T-drives are very good because they give you what is essentially the Starpoint Gemini equivalent of a Star Trek warp without using a warp gate. Or, I don't know if you've watched it, but there are other sci-fi programs out there which let you travel instantly. 35,000, however, at the start of the game is a fairly significant number, because remember, this is going to add up. So if I click on that and click on buy, you can see the full price is going to be 210,000. That's half of my money. It's just not worth it. So for this reason, I'm keeping the light repair drones. I'm going to leave the trader because I've sold everything that I picked up from my mission. Dry dock is flashing, which normally means there's something that I can do which is useful to me. This is on extreme mode, and even then it gives you little reminders like that to say, hey, we're going to flash repair hull because your hull is 1,924 out of 2,000, which means it's not full. Now, this is going to cost me 150 to repair, which is a far more reasonable price to pay than what I would have done for getting T drives and just staying out of combat. I'm going to select close, and at this point there is an autosave, but I recommend manually saving it because you might be unlucky and the game could crash. So we go to menu. Don't worry, I haven't lost everything. Click on save game, click on new save. This is also proof that I've done it before and I was just testing you. So on new save you click save and you choose your new save file name. Now I'm going to choose Bracknor LP because this is kind of a let's play slash tutorial, as I said. That will now stay there. For peace of mind, I suggest clicking on save game again because you can see that it's in your list. So that's fine. So go down here, click on the back button, click on continue, or alternatively, click escape on your keyboard. It will take you back to the game. Now, if you click on escape or leave, it will take you out to space again. Skills and perks I'll show you later, possibly in the next video. But what I want to do before that, and before closing off this video, is teach you a little bit more about the map. So we're going to go ahead and leave. Just a quick thing first. As you can see, Concordia looks a bit squiff. That's because you're in 3D space. Now, the way for me to fix this is to press Q on the keyboard, which will turn me sideways of sorts to the left. Now I've gone slightly too far, so I can press E. That's not necessary at all, but it's a nice little touch. So I'm going back to the menu, the map menu. The things that I recommend doing here, now that you've done your first mission, is to see how much money you have, how many resources you have, what your ship capacities are. That's always worthwhile checking every time you go to the map, because if you say we're in a fleet battle and your command points are at 4,000 but they went down to 3,500 and you wonder what's happened there, you can look at that and you can go, right, I need to replace my ship. Now, I would recommend building a mining operation as one of the first things you do, but we can't do that yet. So very quickly, still as part of this battle map tutorial section, straight back into Concordia. You're going to go to the construction menu, which is down in the bottom left, and we are going to choose a module of the space station. Now, the one we want is going to be the mining ops. You can construct remote mining operations, remote gas collectors, and level 1 mining tasks will appear on the map. This is 550 minerals, 400 gas, and 400 of the what I call the advanced minerals. So we're going to go ahead and build that. We're going to close, straight back out to carry on with the map. Now we can build a mining operation, and we couldn't before. This will get me 20 a week. That's the ore up the top here. Bear in mind it does still cost you to build it, but this is a good idea and I recommend going ahead. You may want to do similar with the junk reclaimer. Research outpost, I wouldn't worry about. Gas collector, I would say get one of those. The other things you want to do is look at these civilian tasks. Now, this is one civilian task, which is a lost cargo retrieval, and it says to send a fleet to retrieve lost cargo. Once completed, they will inform you of their findings. The threat level is low, which is important because if it's very high, there's a possibility you could fail or lose your civilian fleet, for example. There is a bit more detail to that, but I'm not going to go into it now. It tells you the region. It is going to cost 206 gas. This is not even worth thinking about, to be honest. You just want to go ahead and send the fleet. Now it's going to take one. Up here it says we have 5 civilian fleets, so I will have 4 left after that. Which means I can look at any others around the map. There's one here. I'm going to take it. And that's it. It's as simple as that for civilian fleets. This wormhole you will probably want quickly. However, as you can see, it's very expensive. So I don't recommend it straight away, not only because you can't, but because there are other things to do as well. If you zoom in with the scroll wheel and click on Concordia, you can select build ships. Now, there aren't any ship blueprints right now, but later on there will be, and that will mean your command points fill up and you can give yourself a fleet. That's all I'm going to do for this first tutorial. Now, as I'm playing on extreme mode, I don't want to get too far behind from the enemy, and as you can see, my screen is full of red, so I need to be very careful. So that's it for now. I hope it's been useful. I hope it's been entertaining, but I am looking to improve, and it's the first one. So if there wasn't anything you were happy about, or if there's anything you want me to include in the next one, as I said, you can add me on Steam. My name is Brecknor. The name will appear possibly more often than it should as this playthrough goes on. And I will see you in the next video. And just before I do that, don't forget, save game. So it's very important. There are auto saves, but I'm going down to Brecknor LP, saving, and that's it. I'll see you in episode 2. Thank you.